Journey into Comics.
Poor entertainment, poor news.
Foodies watching movies.
Adulting 80s.
Podcastrophe. The voice of survival.
Kids for Sale. GallifRadio.
Brews with Dudes.
Journey into Wrestling. Journey into Comics Network. JourneyIntoComics.com.
The following
is a Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
It's a Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Network.
Production.
What's up, everybody? This is Chris from the Kids for Sale podcast, and you are listening to the Journey into Comics Network Best of the Week.
And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Journey into Comics.
So I'm keeping busy just for you guys. You're welcome.
That's great.
But no, I'm putting my professional AD&D together with my OCD and producing like a whole bunch of stuff. Plus, I get to hang out with you guys. So
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
all good.
Heck yeah.
Do you like us, Dick?
I like this.
Okay, good. So, one thing that I love that you do more recently is the clever title pending live streaming.
Yeah, your Facebook Live videos are so fun to watch.
Well, thank you. And it always, I have to say, in all honesty, it gives me such a thrill when I see you guys popping up the thing, when Facebook actually deigns to tell me who's watching.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a fun time. I tell people that it's a format that it's kind of settled itself in the first 10 minutes the first time I did. I was originally going to do the show, the morning show, never mind the furthermore, just 10 minutes, me, hi, here's what I'm doing, y'all have a nice day, bye. And then I started noticing comments popping up, and I started interacting with everyone, and we're getting conversations going.
It's fun.
It was great because it wasn't on me anymore.
Right.
I'm learning things about my friends and people just, dropping in and having, conversations, and then it extended to letting them plug their stuff. And then I decided to do something in the evening because I'd gotten a number of people that wanted me to do an after hours kind of thing because I think they wanted to hear me swear more often is what it was.
I'm not going to lie, I would tune in for that.
Well, damn it, more for you then, just for you. Actually, I could get the FCC probably on my case if I did too much of my natural patter on there. But no, we started doing the Wednesday show, Clever Title Pending, 7 p.m. Eastern, my page, where it's more about creativity and more about encouraging people to be creative, which is something I do during the daylight hours anyway. So
That's
I thought
something that I love about you. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that I love most about you is how supportive you are to other artists and other writers, and how much you're willing to give up your knowledge and your information for free. That's so cool to me, and I love all the support you give fellow artists.
Well, I'm glad to, and I'm just amazed how my friends are creative in so many different ways. Like, after we met last time, to find out that you're a musician, and what a musician you are, plug your stuff now. And
Walk Among Us Band, check us out.
Facebook page, you'll love it.
We're recouping from a show. We could do a whole 2 hours on last night's show, but we're focusing on our
this
guests.
sounds
It's a long
good.
night.
Okay, I'll just take the first 3 and then you take it from there. But anyway, but no, in podcasting, creativity just doesn't have to be like drawing stuff or writing stuff. There's so many avenues with being creative that I love encouraging it. And as I tell people, and it's like, well, you're part of this glorious enterprise too. But
He's not wrong.
He looks pleased. Dick looks very pleased.
I'm trying to
be
be
here.
inclusive here. But it's as I tell people that too many people in so many fields feel that it's like zero sum. Like if you get something good, well, you're taking away from me, and that's not true.
It's cutthroat.
It is. A lot of people are very cutthroat when it doesn't need to be.
Right.
And I'm thinking, why worry about how big my slice of the pie is? Why don't we just grow the pie? Then everybody gets a better share of it. So, and we all, part of this rising tide philosophy I have, which makes me sound almost evangelical at times.
No, I
which
love
is,
I love it too.
I live my. I've built the network on rising tides raise ships.
Yeah.
Man, for real. Like, it's not just about me doing one podcast. It's about me getting my friends and all these people I care about to come up together and to do their own thing, and then stuff like this guy's show spins out and does crazy stuff.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So
Crazy stuff.
your philosophy of Rising Tides Raise Ship, it's actually, I want to know kind of where that spawned for you.
Well, it really came together as I was entering this writing thing. When I started doing this full time 6 years ago, 6.5 now. Not that I'm keeping track, but a lot of people were sharing their knowledge with me as I was coming up, just as I tried to pass it on, and they didn't have to do that. Right. I think it's really cool when people do kind things and they don't get anything out of it more than maybe even just a glow inside, which I think is perfectly selfish and wonderful.
Agreed.
But then I ran across a quote from President John F. Kennedy, who used to say that a rising tide raises all ships. And I realized that had been happening to me because by this time, you guys have a network. I'm starting to develop a network of friends who we recommend shows to each other. We give each other best practices in what we're doing, but we're non-competitive about it. Right. And it's more like I talk about riding coattails a lot, but with my tongue firmly in my cheek, because I think the better thing to do is teach people how to swim. Yeah. So that they can keep up with you, and at the same time, I have people who I see are like a little further up the game than me, and I'm like, man, I want to keep hanging with them, so I'm gonna, I got to improve my game. Right. So it's a way to not just help other cool people to do what they do, whatever that may be, but it's also a way for me to challenge myself and gain new knowledge. So where I'm a little more. And I don't want to say competitive in the negative sense, but competitive in that I can keep up with the people I care with. So.
Right. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I really like that philosophy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's so applicable to everyone.
Absolutely. And I think more like, there was a job I worked at a casino industry once upon a time and was a dealer. And that philosophy of like everybody is on the same page. Like there's a camaraderie about it, and that changes your philosophy. You don't feel like you're a lone shark in this big
makes it more
sea.
Fun.
You're like,
why not?
A group of minnows swimming together is a whole hell of a lot more fun than a shark flying solo, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it also makes the bad ones, the bad shows, the bad times a little easier to handle.
Yes.
Like one time, there were a group of us at this one show. It was a mall show, and there was a bunch of us writers, and we enjoy each other's company, and generally engaging in the kind of behavior that we keep kind of sotto voce, that it doesn't go beyond the table because we don't want people thinking ill of us because we're not behaving anywhere close to our age. So we had one show where it was like a Friday, Saturday show, and we realized by the end of the day our abdomens were absolutely aching from the laughing we had done, just trying to keep each other amused. We had not between us sold one single thing. We didn't care. Of course, the next day we went back and did our jobs properly, because we have people to answer to. But no, it was just the idea that we could just have fun, not make a single penny, but we still had a glorious day. So.
Yeah, that makes it worth it to me.
Yeah, it was. It was fun.
With our band, if we play a show that there's not a lot of people, there's not a lot of, money coming in from the door or whatever. If we're having a good time and the people that are there love it, then it's totally worth it.
Exactly.
Even if like one person comes up and says something nice, and you, as a writer and a creator, you understand this. Like, even one nice thing said about your work is like, oh, that actually feels pretty good. I have a little bit of validation in this world that what I'm doing is not some sort of a thing that I've made up in my head.
Yeah. Or that it means something to somebody else.
Exactly.
And not just you.
Yeah. Well, it's like with my Skyman book. In fact, I was telling one of the people here, Lacey and Becky, that Roy Thomas I asked him to write an introduction for me. Now, Roy Thomas, for those who don't know, was Stan Lee's right-hand man. Okay, and he's done some incredible things on his own during his time in comic books and other media. And he wrote an introduction for me, and I asked him nicely, and he said, here's your introduction. and I sent him the manuscript so he could see what I'm doing. And he wrote something in there to the effect of, if pulps ever make a comeback, then Morris the Skyman could be the next Doc Savage. I'm sitting there, tears rolling down my face. It's like, oh my God, this is the most wonderful. Because every now and then we all get that, what I've learned is called imposter syndrome.
Yes.
You know, it's like,
we've been talking about that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
imposter syndrome, where you don't feel like, is this really real?
Yeah, it's like, why are these people smiling at me? Where are the pitchforks and torches? You know,
Yeah.
it's like, and then you realize, you know, yes, I've done some work. Yes, I've made some accomplishments. Yeah, maybe, you know, it's nice that people acknowledge it. But then every now and then it's like, they're going to see through me one of these days. I'm wearing the emperor's clothes and I'm hiding behind the curtain I don't want you to open. So,
Right.
yeah.
I think that's super real. I can really resonate with that.
Yeah.
We can, you know, after doing so much on like Facebook and social media and reaching out, and our band puts out videos every week, and we've been getting like a couple thousand views, like, you know, and at first it was like really exciting, like, holy shit, people really like what we're doing. But then it was like, this is really overwhelming sometimes, like, you know. You don't really know what to expect. And that's why it's important to surround yourself with good people and supportive, creative types that want the same kind of things as you.
Oh, exactly. And I've made some good friends along the way with this philosophy that, like, my show gets, you know, shared now regularly through someone I met from a Kickstarter campaign that I did earlier this year for a comic book that's on my table right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great to meet people during this Kickstarter thing who have then become part of my network, and I have become part of theirs, and they automatically share my stuff.
Yeah,
you know, which is
it's
like,
just like a network of friends that just, community that keeps growing.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to mention. Shout out to one of our mutual friends, Todd Black.
Oh, yeah.
Who, he's done some Kickstarters things. I met him through podcasting. He becomes a part of my network, spawns into you becoming, it just like this crazy web of things that have happened. Before we move too further on, I have to ask, is it nerve-wracking for you like it is for me when you go on Facebook Live? Like, really talk me through it. When you're sitting there and you're about to, like, push the button, does that moment hit where you're like, I dread this, like, I'm afraid, like, what is about to happen? Who's going to come in and say something that's going to derail my whole... And then, of course, that never happens. But still, do you still have that? I mean, you do these so often now.
Periodically. I've got a few people that, you know, if I had that 7-second delay, my hand would be over that, you know, trembling with every utterance that comes out of them. But no, because here's where you guys are going to, like, back up a little from fear. There's this personality that takes over. That, you know, I slip on the fez, I put on the bow tie, and I hit the button, and that one takes over. Right. That's the one who is the show whore.
You're on.
Yeah, I'm on. I'm the, you know, and we've talked about this several times among my friends, that a lot of what we present in public is us, but it isn't us. You know, like the Brian who goes on all these live casts who, you know, I'm ready for anything. I'll roll with the punches. Yes, hi, glad to see you all. Hey, buy this new used car I've got. And but he's the guy that doesn't get flustered too often, doesn't stumble over things, seems reasonably prepared. And inside there's the real me going, they're going to find out. They're going to learn any second now.
That imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
You're driving the ship on the inside like, oh, yeah, I hope I don't screw up.
Except I don't have a steering wheel. That's the problem. But it's like little things. Like I notice, like if I seem to start like every other sentence with the word anyway, I have these pauses in my voices that are almost Shatner-esque. I stumble over words, I mispronounce things, and inside there's the inner me chewing on the barrel of a shotgun. But outside me can't let it show. Or like, you know, it's winter, I cough now. You know, I just got over something. I still have a little cough that hangs on, and every time I cough, you know, I just feel like it's going to turn into a horror show at any minute now, with blood and gore flying out of my mouth, and inside it's like no.
Your
and outside
viewers
I'm
are
like,
doing this, like, stab me in the ear. Why does he keep
Yes.
coughing and peeking out?
Yeah. So I don't really get nervous anymore, and in fact, I kind of like it to the point where this week, actually, instead of 3 broadcasts, we had 4 because here's the freelancer's problem. #real writer problems. We sometimes don't know what day of the week it is, especially if you
super
don't
real.
watch television, which
I've
I
had
don't.
that.
Right.
So I'm Tuesday night. There I am, brand new episode of Clever Title Pending, and I'm going, hey, hope you're having a great Wednesday night, and everybody's like, why are you saying it's Wednesday? And I'm like, it's Wednesday, right? And they're like, no, it's Tuesday. I'm looking at my phone. I was like, well, shit.
Whoopsie.
Yeah. So, hey, on a very special episode of Clever Title Pending
We're
tonight.
time traveling.
Yeah. So talk about rolling with the punches, because there's the inner voice going, okay, you can take the night off, stupid.
Right.
But
And
that's
then
like,
you power through it. and
we
you move
powered
on.
through it. We had a regular episode, and we had an episode the next night.
You're listening to Poor Entertainment with your host, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andrew Poor.
Wait a minute. This is poor entertainment. What is going on?
What is going on?
Oh, whoa. AP, there you are. What is going on? Like, why am I hosting your show? Wait,
I don't
am I
know.
hosting your show? What's
I don't know what's happening. I feel like I need to give everyone a fistful of heritage all of a sudden.
Oh. Speaking of, I got a fistful of anti-hero.
Oh man. Now I feel like the basic bitch drinking Miller Lite.
I got some of those in the fridge. Oh wait, those are zombie dusts.
It's a step up.
No. The running joke here in town is that actually I'm not sure how to explain the joke, but we call zombie dust Miller Lights.
Oh gosh.
I can't remember why.
I feel like we could use some help here. Is anyone else out there that can help us out with this situation? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, no kidding.
Whoa,
Oh, shit, it's Pod Daddy.
Breached in, guys, from Earth 38. I was smoking a doobie with Snoop, and it was a good time, but something is strange. First of all, Dick, why are you hosting this show?
Am I? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, am I hosting the show? Am I not? Like, what's going on here?
But I see HeroesJourney and I see AP. I'm very confused.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm in a basement right now. This doesn't look like where I live. I don't know.
I feel like we should get to the bottom of this confusion.
This is odd.
This is odd. What
It's almost as if we've traveled to Elseworlds.
else? That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
Great segue, Nate.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. This week we are covering a show or a series of shows that we all enjoy, at least most of them. This is covering the CW Elseworlds crossover, their annual crossover. That this one does not feature Legends of Tomorrow because it would have just been more balls to the wall if it was.
Oh, I don't even know how it would have fit into this.
I mean, they squeezed a Gary, and that's the best they could do.
Yeah.
And that was fine.
Okay with. Completely okay with. Yeah,
I feel like... Oh, go ahead, Dick.
Oh, we try to do this crossover talk like every crossover. Did we talk last year about it? About Crisis?
I did. Did
I
Nate
don't remember.
and I? Did we cover
I don't
Crisis?
think we did.
I don't know.
I think I
think we
talked
did.
about Crisis. I don't know if I talked about it with anyone, though.
I've slept a lot since then.
A lot has happened in 2018.
It truly has.
Yeah, I mean, to talk about how, just to brief on your other show, AP, I just want to make reference to a really funny quote I heard this week that was, last week was a bad year for Donald Trump. That was an SNL joke, and I thought it was actually pretty clever. So anyways, yeah, we have to do some talking about the CW crossover. It's really funny, guys, because I'm not caught up at all. I jumped balls deep into this, and there genuinely are characters I have no fucking idea who they are.
Where are you at in terms of where were you left? Have you watched any of the certain seasons of the shows, or?
Okay, so the last things I've witnessed was the entire previous season of Supergirl. I think it was season 3.
Okay.
I finished that. I finished Flash of season 4. I did not finish last season's Arrow because I did not start last season's Arrow. I watched the crossover, and that was pretty much it.
So you got a lot of spoilers in this.
Maybe if I can remember them all. There was a lot of things, and I can also in my head go, well, that was also the Monitor playing with how things were supposed to go down a little bit. You know, I don't know what's real and what's not.
You know, I don't think it was too spoilery, if I recall.
Those are meant to be, I don't know, not to jump in. They're kind of meant to be kind of standalone.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, totally. You know, I think only Oliver mentions a few things, like him being in prison and such. That's it. Like, and the interaction between him and Felicity within the episode, that's kind of a spoiler within Arrow, but everything else is pretty spoiler free, you know, like Flash didn't have anything.
Right. I mean, they didn't even feature like their main.
I have no idea about Supergirl because I don't watch Supergirl.
Right. Supergirl was pretty mild too. Like it talked about like the most recent episode about like the events about them wanting to, the government wants her to go public with who she is as a person, like her real identity. And that was the last big thing. And they brought that up when she was talking with Clark. But I think before we really get into like the meat of this, we should talk about some of the fun Easter eggs that we kind of got leading up to the release. I don't know if any of you guys watched the trailers.
No, I didn't.
So we know there was a trailer that I think it kicked off the first episode that featured a favorite 90s superhero.
Yeah.
Oh, the awesome return of Barry Allen as played by John Wesley Shipp from the old school days.
Yeah.
Looking like the old school costume.
Yeah, I don't know what really happened to him. Like that's kind of a thing. So are we talking about all the Easter eggs right now? All the different things we saw throughout the episodes?
Well, this was just like, that was the one that really showed up in like the previews. We can get into the Easter eggs, but you just watched all these episodes today. Like you binged these within the last like hour and a half.
It was like a literal 2.5 hour movie that I just sat through, and it was worth it. It was good.
So I guess since it's the most fresh in your mind, do you want to? I feel like I always hear you recap some of the stuff you've watched or seen. So do you want to run us through those since you've seen it more recently than both of us?
I'll do it lightning fast, kind of like The Flash. So in short, in the Flash episode, Oliver Queen wakes up in Barry Allen's bed, and he's like, what the fuck? I'm not Barry Allen.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be Oliver Queen. This is weird. Iris, don't touch me. This is awkward. Barry will be very mad at me. He might phase my heart out of my body. I don't know. Like, what the shit? So then they go to Team Flash, and they're like, hey, we got a problem. And they think these two are imposters, and they're crazy. Let's knock them out. Let's figure this shit out. But somewhere in Iris's heart, she is just deep down realizing that there's this possibility. And I also should mention in the episode, there's a little side story. I think it maybe actually is what starts the episode, where this guy, we learn John Deegan, is handed a book and told that he can make changes to the world. And you aren't really given much more than that. A guy does, it just kind of disappears. And so then Team Flash is got Barry and Oliver, which is the reverse, tied up because Oliver. This is awkward to talk about, by the way, because it's like which of the versions of which am I talking about?
Yeah.
So the Flash Oliver, I guess, had to run to Star City to pick up Barry Allen Green Arrow. This is again very hardcore to do, but and then they get again taken out by the team and put in the cell lock that they have for the metas. And the next thing we know, Iris kind of has a change of heart, realizes that maybe something is afoul. Barry and Oliver, or Oliver and Barry, however you want to look at it, they break out of the holding cell, and Iris lets them go to find Kara Danvers on Earth 38.
Tell him she's your lightning rod.
Oh, man. It was interesting because he gave, like, I guess this is funny to say, Barry gave Oliver the wrong advice for Barry. And what I mean by that is, in that moment,
he should have talked to her. It's ultimately what fixes it is when Barry talked to Iris. So in the beginning when he's like, no, you do it. It's like, no, dumbass, you're the one that's in love with her. Like, speak from your heart, man. There's things that only you and her will know personally. Like, bring up sometime you guys got freaky, something that she'll never forget. Like,
yeah,
just be like, just like get raunchy with it if you have to.
Hey.
She'll remember. She'll be like, whoa,
he's too fast.
Oh, so she doesn't really see the action happening.
Oh god.
Or does she? Is it not very quick? Is it like 1 second because he's so quick?
It's like, and I'm done.
And is it like actually a sex act? Is he phasing into her? How's that work?
Oh god.
Hey,
Too
Nate,
much.
Go ahead and keep recapping. Daenerys Palin.
Okay, Daenerys Palin. I totally vibe that. AP, let's take over for a hot second here. So, back to it. What happens is they go to Smallville. Well, it flashes to Smallville where Kara is, and she's with obviously Clark and Lois Lane. Holy shitballs! We get Lois Lane, which was wicked.
Yeah.
Now, they're doing their own kind of thing, and it seems like they're cleaning up the Kent farm, which was also a neat reference point to see in the CW verse. Again, kind of playing there's so many moments in this 3-part episode that harken back to things that are not just CW directly related and such.
Right. Crossovers
and
are ultimately fan service, really.
This was maybe, and when Dick comes back, we can really dive into this part of it, but like, I did want to get into how this was maybe the most fan service episode we've ever gotten from CW.
Right.
Or 3-parter episode anyways. It feels like one episode to me because I just watched it all simultaneously.
It's like one big movie.
So they're at they're at Kent Farm, and all of a sudden, boom, breach in Oliver and Barry. Bolivar and Airy, or whatever you're going to call them. And they're like, Kara immediately knows something's up. She's like, hey, what's up, guys? And they're like, this is what's going on. You recognize us? Whoa, this is crazy. Like, we got to get to the bottom of this. What's happening? So then they go back to Earth, and they have to defeat an awesome DC villain. So stoked for them to bring it into the world. Amazo, a character who's a robot who can absorb any superpower thrown at him if given enough time, and then he can become as powerful as said character. That's a little overkill. Had to find a way to nerf him. I think they did a good job with that battle or whatever. And again, diving deeper here. They do defeat him, but then they realize that there's more problems, and it's like, how are we going to fix this? And Oliver's great answer is, let's go to Gotham. And we got the tease at that first episode of Batwoman standing atop of a tower. We don't know it's Batwoman yet. We really aren't supposed to know shit all, but I know, obviously, and you guys know. So she's atop the tower looking all stoic and whatnot.
Awesomely
and brave.
filled in Chicago.
Cool,
Legitly.
yeah. And I, honestly, I was a little bit frustrated because I stayed for what I thought was going to be one of those, like, clips that they do, like the little after-credit sequences, and there was not one on the first episode. And I was like, I wasted, like, 2 minutes. I could have just been getting closer to the end of this, So anyways, jump forward, and then the second episode, we go to Gotham. And we spend the majority of that episode in Gotham with the team trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what to do. They ultimately get arrested by the GCPD because Oliver is a known apparent fugitive, or Bolivar. I don't know if you'd call him Airy. I'm not sure which one he is, but anyways, he's a fugitive. He gets locked away in GCPD. Somebody posts bail. He's not sure who. It's Katie Kane. She brings him to Wayne Tower at Wayne Enterprises. They're a little confused. She reveals that that Bruce is her cousin and that he's been gone for a while because after Batman left the city, it kind of went to shit. He had to get out of town, too, because it was just too dangerous or whatever, and he's trying to find his shit or whatever. One of my favorite parts in this, and we'll really, really dive into it, but they had a great fight sequence in this second episode. Oliver Queen versus Barry Allen in each other's outfits, but they were fighting Malcolm Merlyn and the Reverse Flash, thanks to, you guys,
Scarecrow.
The fucking Scarecrow.
Yeah.
How amazing was that? To have his...
All the little things.
You got to nerd out on some Gotham during that episode.
Yeah, we did.
I was nerding out hardcore parkour. Definitely, there were so many.
There was
things
also
I saw.
Unthawed Woman.
Yeah.
in that episode.
Freeze, maybe.
Noah Freeze.
Yeah, I mean it's so they had a little bit of a run-in with, I can't remember who caused all the drama. Oh, it was Deegan. They were going to find him because he's in Gotham. And
he was an Arkham professor or scientist.
Doctor. He's a doctor.
Yeah.
He's an Arkham doctor. And they go there, and ultimately he runs off, but he hits an escape button for him because it lets out all the inmates. Unfortunately, because of how they have rights and stuff, I'm sure they can only reference these characters. I wasn't at least expecting to ever see any of those names in full form.
Yeah, it showed a lot of nice names. I saw Cobblepot, Nigma. They showed, I think, pretty much all the big ones.
Well,
and Mark Guggenheim.
Yeah, Mark Guggenheim was one. Pamela Isley, who is Poison Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Boris Karloff, who is Clayface. Ed Nigma, Cobblepot. I mean, that was just I hate to use this term because we're not on Podcastrophe, but I guess it's a crossover, so we got to get a little bit of everything in here. But a little bit of a jizz factory in that regard. There was so much to just be like, oh my God,
Nate,
they gave us Cobblepot. Oh my
Nate,
God, they gave us.
We have never
Isley.
said jizz factory on the show.
Are you sure?
I'm fairly certain.
Let's go to the tapes.
Make it happen. We can make it happen because that sounds like something we would say. But
just
we haven't.
Casually drop it tomorrow during your live. Just
if he remembers, he probably will. And then it's really a crossover, you know.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
So I got to ask you guys. Totally, we're just gonna sidecar this wrestling. Let's get into some wrestling talk. Do you watch any professional wrestling, kinda?
Not as much as John, but I do know some of the characters. My favorite is The Undertaker. Dude, you could land a plane on that guy's forehead, man. It's just...
Mark Calloway's amazing.
And he's so huge.
Wow.
I love that's where we started with is Undertaker. One of my favorite strange memories of him was the WrestleMania 25 with Shawn when he was supposed to do the suicide dive over the top rope. And Homeboy, I can't remember, one of the twins was supposed to catch him. They had one of those big guys out that was acting like a cameraman.
Yeah.
And he did not do his job at all. Taker lands right on his neck, and I'm like, he's dead. He's died. And he just gets right up like there's nothing. And I was like, his neck is made of steel.
Yeah, that kind of that was one of those moments that made that one of the best matches in WrestleMania history.
Absolutely. Hands down. That Brock when he almost broke his neck. Good neck break, just sets the tone for a memorable match.
That was scary too.
Absolutely.
Those guys really do go at it with each other too. They really throw each other around the ring. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's not like a total act. They actually put their bodies through a lot.
It ain't ballet, son.
Yeah,
buddy, pal, or whatever.
I was watching, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I watched Bound for Glory this year.
Oh, okay. How was it?
Actually really good. I was shocked. I watched the whole entire card and was impressed throughout. They had a match with the OGs, which was the original version of LAX, with the new version of LAX in a jungle death match where they literally removed every kind of padding from ringside. The planks, they literally were wrestling on open planks that were moving and opening up.
My gosh.
It was the craziest. You think about barbed wire death matches and stuff, sure, but you've exposed the ring in a way that if you slip through it, your leg is going down and you're probably not having a pretty good time.
Right.
Slipping through the cracks like that. And 2 seconds into the match, one board pops up and off and is not staying. So there is this big gaping hole in the ring and they're trying to work around it. And I'm like, only in TNA.
Yeah.
Only place they could let that happen.
I've heard a lot of good stuff about what Impact has been doing lately.
Don Callis is changing it over there. He has really changed the culture of Impact Wrestling, and I think he's trying to get the name back. And I just to briefly mention on the Bound for Glory card, it was a solid 4-star card.
Wow, awesome.
I mean, even including the fact that Austin Aries no-sold and quit live on TV. It was amazing. Okay, so Johnny Impact hits his shooting star press for the finish, right? Or the, what's he call that move? I can't think of what it's called.
It had several different names, End of the World or...
The Jefferson Starship or whatever the hell it's called. I don't know. He hits it
1, 2, 3. Austin Aries stands up, walks out of the ring, flips off Don Callis, and leaves. No sells the match. Acts like he took no damage.
And is he back yet?
No, he quit. He's done. He left Impact for good.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like a pretty drastic thing. So that also kind of added to the whole Bound for Glory
mystique. They're actually like doing this story right.
Hopefully.
Awesome.
If they keep him off TV for a while and they can find a smart way to pull him back in.
It's not like when Punk beat Cena and then and got fired, and a week later he was back.
That was dumb.
That was about the dumbest thing ever.
Very, very bad planning on their behalf.
And then Punk was back in 2 weeks.
God, the best thing they did with Punk was Money in the Bank in Chicago.
Yeah, but remember he was supposed to be gone, and then 2 weeks later they bring him back?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That was right after Money in the Bank, right?
Yeah, so Cena got fired. The stipulation was Punk's leaving. Cena gets fired if he loses. They had that amazing, like maybe one of the best matches in WWE in recent memory in that Money in the Bank.
Definitely in Cena's career.
Oh, Cena and Punk were magic together.
Surprisingly, but like oil and water typically don't go together, but for some reason those two, their styles absolutely meshed beautifully.
And yeah, so like they had that, and then Cena got fired, but he was back the next week, and Punk was supposed to be gone and quit the company, and he was back in 2 weeks. So way to...
You had to draw down a little bit longer.
Punk was doing such a brilliant job. Like I remember on I think it was Twitter, he was like posting pictures with the championship in his refrigerator. Was going to like Comic-Con and all the other stuff.
Holding the title, saying he's the real champ.
Yeah.
Not just kayfabe at its finest, man.
Yeah.
Back when it was good.
I miss him, but I'm not one of those people that would ever chant CM Punk at a match. He's gone. He's enjoying life, man. God bless, let him go.
He's going to show up soon, sooner than we think.
You think so?
And I want to get your guys' opinion on this. I don't know how much you follow the Being the Elite now, and if you've stayed on since the All In, but they've teased they're going to have their own wrestling promotion.
I've heard this.
What are your thoughts?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do it, man. More is better. I'll be honest with you. WWF is nigh unwatchable right now. It is, and from what I've been seeing, I follow podcasts. I love keeping up with what's going on, but it has just gotten so bad. And I'm welcome anybody that can pull them out of their funk, because New Japan is so good.
Oh, yeah.
And NXT is so good.
Absolutely.
Like, NXT might be the best it's ever been, and that's saying a lot, because when Sami Zayn and Owens were down there, and
it's not any longer a developmental. I don't think NXT should be looked at as you're in developmental. If you're in the Performance Center, you're in developmental.
Right.
When you're in NXT, you are in a brand that if you market yourself right and do it right, nothing can stop you.
I don't want people to get called up. Like, I'm happy for their paychecks, but
Lars Sullivan got called up, and I was like, his career's over.
Oh, what are they going to do with Velveteen Dream? He is so, like,
he's got to be Intercontinental champ. I have to see him with that belt.
They just don't let them do what they do. But like Asuka, I get it. She had to lose at some point, but my goodness, have they just butchered her? Bayley, have they butchered her? Sasha Banks, have they butchered her? They tried to kill Becky.
She saved herself.
She's money in and of herself.
Nia Jax really saved her. Let's talk about the infamous punch that, I don't know if you saw this in wrestling.
No.
So in the women's division, they've definitely been doing the best to trend up and make like women's wrestling amazing to watch, and I'm a fan of it, absolutely. There was an invasion angle with SmackDown. Becky Lynch got legit potatoed, punched right in the nose, and shattered her nose. So she's on TV with her nose just gushing, and she's just kicking ass, taking names, no holds barred. And it was so Attitude Era Austin, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, it was unbelievable. It made her. She's a made star now. So the WrestleMania 35, they want Becky and Ronda to headline.
And Becky should win.
Yes, across the board to that. And she should unify the titles, too.
I don't know about. It depends if they're going to keep the brand thing going. As far as I'm concerned, like,
and that might change too with the Fox deal.
Yeah, I'm curious about that Fox deal. Just with how bad, I heard the ratings are like at an all-time low right now.
Oh, for wrestling, for
Raw.
For Raw. Oh yeah. Well, okay. They had like a spike in ratings because the Roman Reigns thing. He announces he has.
I heard about that.
He has to step away. That's like, oh shit, real news. But then they kind of decided to do the real wrestling thing and capitalize on his sadness, and then did the heel turn on the Shield the same night. So you get this, like, again, it kind of feels Attitude Era, but then they don't follow up on anything.
Well, isn't Brock's the champion again?
Yep, no title. Haven't seen it.
Like,
should have gave it to Braun.
This is the problem with the modern mentality, and this is where, again, I think NXT and even like New Japan goes like old school 80s era mentality, which is like you never see the champ, but the champ he's on the card all the time. He doesn't defend all the time, and when he does defend it, it's a big flipping deal. Brock never feels big because Brock never has, in my opinion, big matches, and neither does he ever feel like we all knew Roman Reigns was going to beat him. That was the end game. But NXT does it. It's not the hot potato that it was in the Attitude Era, but there's multiple stars in NXT. Ciampa is the champ, and he is amazing.
Gargano with the heel turn.
Gargano is a viable contender. You don't know when Gargano is going to win. You don't know when Black is going to come back. You don't know if Velveteen is going to jump out and win. There's a variety. Like, you don't know what the end game is in NXT, so it makes it enjoyable to watch. Raw, we knew the end game was Roman Reigns, and because of that, if you know the ending, the journey is not as fun to get there, because you knew Joe wasn't going to beat Lesnar. You knew Braun wasn't going to, because it's like, got to save it for Roman. And I think what happened, obviously it's a tragedy, so I don't want to speak ill of the man of Roman Reigns, but the character, I'm speaking of the character.
Totally.
And the character was awful.
Oh, yeah, and here's the weird thing. The character Roman Reigns is awful. However, when he returns, easily the most over he will ever be. And it's almost that... not Murphy's Law. I don't know what I'm looking for here, but it's just kind of like a tragedy that his ability to be over like they wanted him to be is going to come from something actually affecting his life that could have taken his life.
Right.
It's like they have to capitalize on this like realness of this guy to like bring the fans to him. But if they would have handled him differently, I think that he would be over a long time ago.
If he would have been a heel, if they would have turned him heel, or again, just the best eras of wrestling are summarized by the multitude of stars, the diversity of stars, right? The best eras to me were when it was like you had Triple H, you had Kurt Angle, you had Benoit, you had Guerrero, you had Jericho, Austin and The Rock. Like, all of these different people were coming to the Big Show even. Like, you didn't know who was going to win. And they didn't build it around one person. They built it around the roster, and now they have a better roster than they've ever had. And they
laser focus one guy. It's one. You have to be and I think that also
get Roman over.
And I think that whole ideology, unfortunately, came from Daniel Bryan. When they got him over with the "you're just a B team guy," they created there has to be a man as the benchmark for WWE.
Well, that was a Cena thing.
Well, also true. I mean, I do totally agree with that. But I think that it was really highlighted that because they started using the authority angle, and it became like now Randy Orton is the face of the WWE, and then it was God, who won after Orton? Was it Cena? I think actually
probably
one time again, something like that. Like, they passed that thing around so much. Do you think that the Universal title is dead?
I've never cared about that thing.
I almost did. Like, there's been a couple times where, like, if Samoa Joe would have won when he would Lesnar match,
it could have been awesome.
I would have been all about it. Same thing with Braun Strowman winning. If he would have won it, the hell was that thing they just did recently? The Crown Jewel match, in Saudi Arabia.
That was the first one, right?
That was the one after.
I refuse to watch Crown Jewel. I will never watch that. I don't care. I didn't even hear spoilers about it because I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, you shouldn't. It was not just from a journalist standpoint. It was not something I enjoyed watching because I felt like it was a show built to pander to an audience that isn't their actual market. And it looked like this is what it looked like. Here comes the money. That's all they cared about, and it baffles me genuinely that a U.S. entity went there after the situation that they did and put on an event like everything's cool, we're all friends.
There's things that are bigger than entertainment.
Exactly.
That was one of them. So I'm not going to get too political on it, but
I appreciate that.
I didn't watch it. I won't watch it. I don't care. I will never watch anything that goes on over there.
Good.
So, cowabunga.
I love that you just went to cowabunga. That's great.
But no, I just look. I sometimes I don't understand the concepts behind wrestling. In that, the whole thing with Bryan was like he wasn't big enough, and now he's the champion, and man, is he doing an amazing job as the champion. And like, I get that in real life, Brock Lesnar is the man. Like, he's legit. But this is entertainment, and in comic books and in movies, the whole story is overcoming the big bad guy. And that's why I don't like that there's a stranglehold with Lesnar on Raw, or the stranglehold that, again, even though Reigns wasn't the champion, he had a stranglehold on the company. Everything revolved around him. He was the center. And that's not how things should be. There should be a multitude of people, and that's what makes compelling stories.
Absolutely. Do you think that if, say, the Elite do create their own company, and it's been talked about that if that were the case, they would be free to work other certain territories. I feel like WWE is starting to kind of get on that train of working with people again, almost old school territory basis, especially from Triple H's perspective, doing like the NXT UK and trying to like branch out to those markets. Is there ever a point where a group like the Elite can be almost omnipotent in wrestling and work every territory, including the big leagues, WWE? Like, what would it do for the, just scenario placing here, the Elite's not going anywhere. They're not leaving. They're going to do their own thing. They have independent contracts. Kenny Omega shows up in the Rumble.
We're gonna fuck the sodomites in the...
What are you guys doing back here? Touching dicks?
What are you guys doing back there? Touching dicks? Get up here and fucking do something.
Get up here and touch dicks. Don't do it in the back.
Yeah.
He has said that.
Do it where everyone can see. But no, like I have had the opinion since I've been in the workforce, because this is my second go around in the construction trades, and I'm glad I'm back because I can actually like work and like appreciate what I'm doing. But your workplace is not a fucking place to bring your feelings. No. Like, I've always had that opinion. Like, I am there to do my job from the time I'm supposed to until the time I'm not supposed to. It's very cut and dry. The moment that I'm not supposed to do that job anymore and it's time to go home, that place doesn't fucking exist to me. You've heard me talk a lot, especially when I worked at Subaru. There's old Tyler and there's Tyler that's here right now. It's not the same fucking dude. You would not have liked old Tyler because we would not have been friends at all in any capacity whatsoever. I would not have got along with anybody in this room because I was so fucking miserable to be around. Just all the time.
Would you start a podcast?
Would I have started a podcast?
With me?
No, I would have told you to go fuck yourself.
Okay.
That's just who I was. I'm not that way anymore.
Yeah.
And now I see people in my career field that are just the way that I used to be. So it's good. It feels good to me that I see that and I'm not like that anymore. I can actually see my own growth. But at the same time, like Ryan said, if I'm telling you to do something and you're A, not doing it effectively, B, not doing exactly what I told you to do, especially if it's simple, you're a fucking idiot. Stop being a dumbass and just do it. Dig a hole. Like, that is simple fucking instruction. I didn't tell you how deep. I didn't tell you how wide. You fucking dig a hole. You start digging a hole. If I come back and you're digging a hole, I'm not going to bother you. Hey, man, make that hole a little wider. And I walk away. I come back, you're still fucking digging a hole. You are effectively doing or performing the instructions that I gave you. Simple as that. People can't fucking figure that out. If you're not performing, I'm going to tell you you're not performing. I don't have to be nice about it. Now, sweetie, I really need you to dig that hole a little bit deeper, okay? Maybe make it a touch wider. I'll be back in 45 minutes. Pull your stress card if you need to. Okay? Take a couple water breaks. You know, maybe get a cool towel. Like, no, we gotta get shit done. Either do it or don't. If you can't do it, go the fuck home. If you don't want to do it, don't come back. Simple as that.
This is one reason why I left Subaru, actually. Because
you couldn't perform?
No, people...
Because you're a piece of shit?
That too, maybe. But
Fucking idiot.
People brought their feelings in.
Yeah.
To there all the time. It seemed very high school drama.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
To me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I mean,
was-
that's manufacturing in general.
Well, I was working in management, too. So everybody brought their drama to me.
Yep.
And I remember in particular, one day we were working on one of the new expansion lines. And we were trying to set it up, and we had a bunch of people staying later. And some kid kept talking to me. And he was joking around, picking at me and everything. And I just said, hey, listen, man, how about you just stop? Otherwise, I'm going to smack you in the face, you little bitch. That's what I told him. He reported me. And I was just like...
So he was poking fun, and you poked a little fun back and was like,
I went a little bit harder.
Yeah, you know, to assert dominance like you should.
Yeah.
Like every man should. We always step it up a little bit, see how
Be an
far you
alpha.
can push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always be an
That's what I
alpha.
did. And he reported me. So I had 2 upstairs people, which you both know what that means, come down and chat with me, or, well, bring me up to chat with me about...
Yeah, because they don't come down to your level.
Yeah.
You got to come up to their level.
How I should have handled the situation. And I was like, listen, for one, I thought we were having fun. I thought we were just poking fun at each other, but I'm sorry. And then the next day, kids started doing at me again, and I was like, listen, man, I'm just not even going to talk. Because if you're going to go run your mouth upstairs, what's the point?
Right.
Yeah, and it's just sad that people like that are rewarded.
Yeah,
That's the kind of
absolutely.
guy that you want to find in the parking lot,
Yeah.
whip his ass, send him home, be like, all right, I'll see you at work tomorrow, man.
So, I mean, that was one of my issues I had with Subaru. It just seemed very drama-filled, very high schoolish.
Yeah, that's just
People
manufacturing in general,
exactly.
man.
People bring their emotions.
And see, that's
into all
not,
this.
it's not even just the factory, it's the people.
Yeah.
It's literally people are the
Well,
problem.
I have a theory on why this is, because we had a particular team member. I won't say his name. Won't matter anyway. Wife was gorgeous. Like,
Okay.
absolutely gorgeous. Started having an affair with some girl on the other team.
He did?
He did.
Okay.
Who, she was not gorgeous. Let's just say that.
Okay.
The only reason why we could figure out why is because you spend so much time at a place like Subaru that, especially if you work on a second shift level, you don't see your family too often.
Yep.
And I was like, I feel like a majority of this is people are so bored with their like lives when they go to a place like Subaru, like a manufacturer, like things are very mundane, that they're looking for any kind of excitement.
Absolutely.
And so that's why they try to do something like this, because they need a thrill of some sort. You know?
Yeah,
Your brain is going to find a way to entertain itself.
Yeah. So I just feel like that's why it's always so filled with drama. And
No, because everyone's sleeping with everyone else behind their significant other's backs.
yeah, too.
Yeah.
We don't really have much of that in our area.
What area are you in? Because
Come
obviously my
on.
ex doesn't work in your section.
It was filled in final line, dude. That's all.
Oh yeah, definitely out there, but our area not so much. I have no idea what you're talking about, Tyler.
There was a lot of shit that went on while I was there. A lot of shit I heard about going on while I was there.
Dick is above all that. He doesn't
Well, I
deal
mean,
with
he's
it.
just kind of oblivious to
I
everything.
was gonna say maybe I'm just oblivious to it
I
all,
think you're
but
just oblivious.
I think
but
it is the latter.
I read a thing.
I just know about Joe fucking Tiffany.
That was one of them.
Shout
But
out.
I read a thing a couple weeks ago that made a lot of sense.
Joe
to
fucked a
me.
retard.
Yeah, he did.
Oh shit!
More than once.
There's no safe spaces.
Blaine.
No. Yeah, he banged her, and he wasn't wearing a condom, and she was on top,
And it was at climax time.
and he told her to get off because he was about to get off, and she goes no.
And held him down.
Damn.
And then she became a jizz factory.
We swear to God she got fucking pregnant, but the fupa she had just absorbed the fetus.
Yes.
That's how it gets its power.
That
It
or she
absorbs
killed it with
fetuses.
Oreos.
She's divorced now.
Is she really?
She's single.
Wow.
She met a guy.
So she's single.
Ryan's like, I heard you.
She met a guy.
Yeah, right. Her just factoring the word no, and I love that. That's exactly.
She met a guy, and after a month of dating, married him.
Yep.
Eloped. Married.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Then she found out, oh, this guy's actually a piece of shit, and he's also just as stupid as her. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, women never want to date or marry a guy that's as dumb as them. I don't know why that is. You'd think they want him dumber, at least, like, because then you can get away with what you want.
Well, she was really stupid, so the ability to find someone dumber than her
Time's
is
not there.
It's not there. No,
Yeah.
She wasn't all there.
I read a thing a couple weeks ago that kind of hit home that made a lot of sense to me. Bear with me, because I'm reciting it.
Is
from
this
memory.
about the panda?
No.
Damn. We call her the panda, by the way. She should be extinct.
But she's not. That
She's still
fucking bitch would not die.
She
just survives on
4 asthma attacks in 1 week.
Are we still talking about this Tiffany gal?
Yeah.
Yes.
4 asthma attacks in 1 week.
Well, she's a fighter. I'll give her that.
Well, remember 4 asthma
No,
attacks
she's
in
a panda.
one day.
Yeah. She's not a fighter. She's a panda. She just survives.
She's hanging in there.
Die. So anyway.
She's worse than a cockroach. She's a panda.
Hard times make strong men. Strong men make easy times. Easy times make weak men. Weak men make hard times. And then the cycle repeats. And I read that, and I was like, man, that fucking makes sense. No wonder we're all a bunch of pussies.
We need war.
We are living in a time of weak men.
Like, all the fucking badass people of generations past fucking made it easier for everybody else. So their children and their children's children didn't have to fucking have hard life like they did.
And that was their goal.
Yeah.
That was literally the goal. Like, I want my kids to have a better life than I did growing up.
But here's the thing.
And
there's a difference between a better life and an easier life. They're not the same thing.
Yeah, you hear that and you think, oh, that's pretty noble. But then you get a couple generations down and they're like, yeah, I don't want my kid to deal with what I had to grow up with, and then they fail to teach them values.
Yep.
Instead just make it easier for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's people that will argue and say, well, the baby boomers fucked up, our country and blah, blah, blah. And, I don't want to fucking argue about that.
I mean, I don't know about the country, the housing market. We can blame them for that.
Yeah, I mean, but we can also blame ourselves.
I wasn't buying fucking
Not
houses.
Us. We can blame America, though,
I was in fucking middle school.
Well, yeah, again, I mean, everything can be blamed on the government, and I love blaming the government because it's all their fault.
Yeah. Anybody that gets an adjustable rate mortgage is an idiot. So,
I don't even know what that means, so I'll never get one.
Well, I'll tell you real quick because it's real easy to say.
Now we're in math class.
To adjust.
I didn't.
All right, adjustable rate.
Fixed rate mortgage. Yeah. The moment you sign the paper, you lock in that percentage. For the length of time that you're in that mortgage, that you're under contract, you will have that interest rate to pay. No different than if you go get a car loan. Mm-hmm. It's exactly the same. An adjustable rate mortgage, you sign the paper, and it might be 1.9% for 5 years. The 5 years is up, and they can jack it to any price that they want. So they'll go from 1.9% to fucking 19%. So your house payment goes from $250 a month to $2,500 a month, and then you can't pay. So the theory behind an adjustable rate mortgage is now you lock in or you agree to that super low interest rate, and then before that interest rate changes, you refinance. You just do that a couple times while you're paying down the principal of your house. Then you actually you actually end up paying less for a house than you would have with a fixed rate mortgage. But with an adjustable rate mortgage, you have the potential to get fucked out of your house, and then financially the rest of your life.
If you don't know that refinance trick.
Yes. Or if you don't catch it in time, you forget. The market crashes, and then there's already like a 6 or 7% interest rate, so then you're going to be losing out a lot. So it's a bad thing to get into. So good rule of thumb is just don't fucking do it. It's a bad decision.
See, and here I am at 27 years old, just learning this shit.
Yeah.
On a random podcast, Instead of being taught something like that.
I didn't know it either until I actually bought this house.
Here's a funny thing.
Right?
My mother actually mentioned this once. Back when she was in high school, they had a class literally called Life Skills.
Mm-hmm.
So they would teach you, it's basically home ec.
Good old Mrs. Welch.
But they would teach you cooking, cleaning, taxes, basic stuff for when you got out of high school that you would need as an adult. They're starting to re-implement that in colleges now because people don't know how to fucking live anymore.
So here's the fucked up thing. When I was in high school, which was the same time that everyone else in this room was in high school, I had a class called Life and Careers, okay, which is essentially what that life skills used to be, but way watered down. You learn how to write a check. I already knew how to do that. You learn about budgets. That's about it. That's all you did.
Mm-hmm.
So
we did that and learned how to sew.
Like, okay, I did that in home ec.
Yeah,
so
we were taught how to make a pretty badass meatball.
But here's some
You're
pretty important
You're
things.
talking home ec.
Like
we're talking like this life skills course.
Oh, I know.
They teach you how to do like your laundry. Because again, like these kids that go to like college campuses and because they finally move out of their parents' house, don't know how to use a washing machine.
It's because their parents suck too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's failure on a parent's behalf if you can't wash your clothes. But as far as like, I agree, balancing the checkbook,
taxes.
Understanding
here's the
taxes.
thing.
I don't know
mortgages.
shit about taxes still.
You probably
I never
your
learned
length
why.
of tax knowledge is probably from hearing me spew bullshit from my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a problem, okay? Because I've taught all that shit to myself. Like, you should learn a good portion of the United States tax code before you graduate high school. You should be able to rattle that fucking shit off. Article 32 of Section B says this. You should be able to fucking rattle that off right out of the gate.
Why is that not taught in economics class in high school?
Well, because the government doesn't want you to know taxes.
I'm glad you said it because I was going to say it and I'm like, thank God, I'm a conspiracy
No,
theorist. But it's fucking true.
I'm very, very anti-government.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they killed JFK.
I'm conservative,
I was
but
the
I'm
second
very
shooter on the
anti-government.
grassy knoll.
What's wrong with being childish? I like being childish.
Before I go, I just want to tell you are fantastic. Never trust a hug. It's just a way to hide your face.
That's the exciting thing. There's nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
Why are you pointing your screwdrivers like that? They're scientific instruments, not water pistols.
Gallifrey! Yes, this must be where I live.
Oh yeah, Banacafalata.
Yeah.
That was from that episode. Banacafalata. I was trying to remember.
I miss David Tennant's Doctor. I want to revisit that someday.
Yeah.
David Tennant, man, we can get that's a whole. We actually maybe we should have paid more tribute to him today on our 10th episode. He is the 10th Doctor, but
well, we can
you
bring
fool.
it up now.
Yeah, I love him. There's so many great episodes. I think we've already kind of gushed about David Tennant across the board, though.
It's easy to do.
It is easy to do. But back to it. Do you guys think that it's possible that in the next series that they do, Chris Chibnall, Jodie Whittaker, that we will get, what's the word I'm looking for here, more payoff because they'll pay off some of the stories from this season like they did the Tim Shaw? Like maybe they were testing the waters. Can we go a long distance of time? Will people care enough to remember that then maybe next season their second episode pays off this season's like 8th episode or something, and there we get more of those kablam things or whatever.
I don't know. I'm hoping to get a few more classic Who references and little Easter eggs because I like that shit.
I think we really desperately need to see Jodie up against a classic villain. Sarah?
I was just thinking about what you said before, and I don't know that there's going to be anything like that. I feel like their focus was so different. The focus was so much on this inner character drama, as it were, like trying to deal with issues and all of this drama, that type of drama anyways. That's the story that they were trying to tell this season.
Right.
They made that very clear in this past episode. I mean, all of the dead people and all of that that weren't really there, or that whole weird... Yeah, that was, I mean, that's the story that they've been trying to tell. That, for some people, is, what they want. Good entertainment and stuff. That's not why I watch Doctor Who. That's just apparently I feel like we're in the minority here. Yeah. Sorry for people who are still, I guess, listening to us. With, I don't know. I don't know what it is. We're just being honest.
We actually had a fan out. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. I don't remember what I was going to say.
Damn it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
You said what?
I was just going to say that based on what she was saying about how we're in the minority for not liking this particular series.
Not that we don't like it.
Well, we had issues with it.
We had issues with it.
But I was just going to say that we had a fan who actually had some good things to say in essentially a retort to our previous episode.
What'd they say?
Well, I'm going to bring it up now. If you guys want to continue discussing what you were discussing about us being in the minority, and I did not mean to cut you off. I just want to let you know, because that sucks. It happens to me, too, in podcasting.
Well, I don't even remember what the fuck we were talking about to you. Oh, we were talking about being in the minority and not being on the bandwagon. And I don't know. I guess I haven't read enough opinions online to feel what other people. Oh, you have?
I've read a lot of it.
I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, just on Facebook because I'm old now and I don't care about other social media platforms.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't even care about Facebook really, but it's all fake. You know. But that's a different discussion altogether. But sometimes when you go through that, you get sucked in thing.
Scrolling.
Yeah, I have read opinions. I've read them through the lens of the music because that's where it always begins for me. Because I really honestly wanted to know what other people were thinking about this composer.
Right.
I was looking for maybe some kinship. I just was looking for the good and the bad. I like to look at both sides of the opinions when it comes to things like music because in terms of TV and movies and stuff, I mean, current taste does matter when you're going to tell a story these days. I mean, you put the bombastic score that Murray Gold had before was, maybe a little over the top for some people is what I've read, For me, it wasn't because the themes were so good. It was quality melodies. And that's what the heart of a lot of music. You don't get a lot of that. Pop music doesn't have a lot of they have a lot of hooks, but they don't have, in the classical sense of the word melody, from beginning to end. If you want to analyze what a quote unquote good melody or a quote unquote bad melody is, I'm, purely, from a theory standpoint, if you want to look at it like that. But the melodies were solid, for the last season, and there was not a lot of melody-driven stuff this season. It was a lot of ambient music, a lot of pop-driven stuff, and that's the composer.
A lot of violins.
And the composer, I watched a few interviews with him when I was searching about it. He seems very sweet. He's very genuine and very into it. I always feel most composers are when they're at that level. They're doing their thing, and he's doing his thing. He's doing it to the best of his ability and being himself, which I admire.
Yeah,
that's
I like
great.
That.
I just the approach, the touch to it, I think was perfect for the writers this season because of what I was saying about their focus being the inner monologue of the drama and less the sci-fi felt like a side dish.
Yeah,
this season the meat and potatoes. It felt like that was what. Like I said, that was a story they were trying to tell. And if we look at the music that was provided this season, in light of the story arc as a whole, I suppose, since they've brought back the first season and tried to reference the other seasons, remember this? Little slightly
placation for the fan.
You could tell they were just trying to get it in there, paying a little fan service. I admire it. They tried. Yeah. But that's all fine and well for the story that story they've been trying to tell the whole season about the drama and things. The music suits it,
right? Because
it is. If you think about your inner monologue and you think about this sad wafting sort of stuff going on, I don't know.
But like you said earlier, it's not your Doctor Who.
That is for me exactly it. It is something that is analytical. That's how I look at TV you look at it as entertainment. That's fine. You can look at it on a surface level like that, but for me, my brain's always ticking like that when I'm watching anything. Doesn't matter what it is. That's why commercials are so horrid. Yet another thing to talk about that we will not get into today.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't.
That's another. No, we definitely should not. Especially if I'm on the music tick. Ooh,
yeah, let's
I don't
not get into
there.
that.
But that's what I gotta say about that. I really hope. I'm glad we have another episode to do, a finale one. I've been really wanting to do something with the music. Nate bought me several years ago the 50th anniversary CD set for Doctor Who.
Oh, sweet.
That has, I think it's 4 CDs.
It's 4 discs, and it covers all eras.
And it's chronological.
Up to Matt
Oh, that's
Smith.
so cool.
So I want. I
don't think I've seen it.
I think
we've ever listened to it.
I haven't listened to it with anybody. I've listened to it several times before, but I'm still cooking up a little segment for next season if we get around to that, if we're going to do that. But
unfortunately delayed till 2020.
Yeah, in light of my either bitching sometimes about the music or praising it, I didn't hate it altogether. I mean, the music's nice. Like, if you were just to listen to the music as its own thing, it's mixed nice. He chose some nice sounds underneath it. Do have a bit of like sci-fi warble to them. I mean, the instrumentation's there. It's very subtle. It's very subtle, which is, again, the subtle story of emotions that they're telling in this whole season of Doctor Who. That's why I say it fits in that way. The music itself is good. He's a good composer or whatever. But I would love to revisit from like every season. Like I said, I'm still working on the idea, but next episode we'll talk a little bit of maybe some of the classic music. I don't know how the licensing works yet for not to make this into a podcast meeting, but
right.
I don't know how the licensing works for actually playing clips on our show.
It's fair use as long as we're not trying to monetize here, and we don't on Podbean.
Well,
Spotify,
so maybe we'll
Stitcher
have,
Radio, Google Play Music.
Yeah, not yet. We're not there yet.
No,
not to that part yet, but. I think we'll maybe have a few clips ready or something for next episode and talk about them, just so you can hear the differences. Because like I was saying,
that's a great idea.
For a 2018 audience, they might need the subtlety. Everybody seems to like it. We started this talk about did I look on social media, at people's opinions of things. And that's what I kept finding. I was so surprised to not see more critiques of the music. And I just have been thinking, I have been thinking about that a lot. And I'm going, why am I critiquing it? What is it that my gut is telling me? And it's what I just talked about. It's the whole, because of the point of the season and the emotions and things. So I won't rehash that.
That's a really interesting observation. I'm looking forward to next episode.
Yeah. I just, because, the music from the 1960s and 70s wouldn't speak to an audience the same way now as it did then.
Right?
Because it was weird and new sounding.
Differently.
The sounds they had, some of the sounds that they were using in that music was so experimental for the time. I mean, just
all the theremins.
I mean, and the theremin had been around for a while, but they were experimenting with like noises and just like sheet metal and just weird sound effects as the soundtrack. Not necessarily as the noises or the background
effect, right?
Sound effects.
I mean, often in classic Who they would go with no music at all underlying
right.
the
That's
scenes.
another thing I would like to talk about if we do a music segment next time.
Yeah, we will do that.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's
the lack of music can be just as important as music.
Bam.
It not only can be, it absolutely is.
Right.
In any form of music, silence is. I mean, you use silence correctly, and it's powerful.
Yeah,
how the gods kill, you guys. Yeah. To bring up our band, we were fresh off a show last night, but that's a song that is very silent, and then when the noise comes in, because of how silent it really is for a while there, it's just kicks.
Swallows people whole. Like I said, it's a shotgun blast to the face. I mean, it
Anyways.
really is.
Anyway.
One thing to also mention on this composer that's in the new series, Sarah, do you know his name by chance?
I do, and it escapes me now because I've been forgetting everything.
Don't worry about it right off the top of the bat, because the reason I even brought him up is I think that people are praising him because he, in my opinion, and I know you don't necessarily share this opinion, I love the new Doctor Who theme. like with the new bro, and like it's all like it's modern. It has been brought to the times. It is a little bit of almost a dance club undercurrent to it, like you guys had called back to. That's not the part I necessarily like. I just like how it overall sounds to me.
That's, I have no beef with anybody, anybody's opinions really on the new theme. That seemed to be a mixed bag for me.
Mm-hmm. I just looked up online quickly because you were talking about the composer for Doctor Who did the new theme.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
I think it's Sagan. I think it's Sagan Akinola.
Akinola, yeah. Royal Birmingham Conservatoire alumnus.
Yeah, he seemed very sweet and genuine in his interviews and things, but that's neither here nor there.
I was just kind of saying maybe the intro is so damn good to so many people that the shortcomings in parts of the season and the odd choices, because to me they're, as just a basic fan that doesn't analyze music quite like you do, Sarah, I was watching this series and there were choices and I was just like, I wouldn't have done that. I don't know if I would have done that.
Yeah, musical choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, example, and this is one we're going to have to reference, and I hate to bring it up because as soon as I do, it's going to be in everyone's head, but the Rosa Parks episode.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah.
The Rise Up song they choose in that moment.
I already
all that,
had my time on complaining on the mountain for that one.
But to go back to that,
mm-hmm.
It is something that is, to me, so bad it still stands out. That is a misstep in the season.
Well,
it could have sealed the series so much better if they would have made it more emotional, less poppy. I personally think.
I think it's the opposite, though. The problem is that makes it over emotional. That's like filling the cup and then spilling over. Like what? There's ways to be more subtle about
I guess
it.
it just made me disconnect.
Lazy to me. It does. It takes you out of the time period. I think that it would have been much more suited to having a song. If you wanted to choose a popular tune, fine. But at least choose one that has like the period in mind.
The era.
It was,
the era.
It was wrong.
It was
wrong.
That was more musically offensive to me than the use of a pop song, because the whole, like I said, he's a pop world composer. That's this guy's bread and butter. They hired him to be this kind of composer because that's what he does. So yeah, the use of a pop song, fine if they want to do that. It was the choice. Like I get where they were coming from, but. We didn't need. I didn't need it to bring it home. I don't want to get on my complaint train again.
Good
about
in
that.
theory, bad in execution.
It was cheap.
Yeah,
it was cheap. It was a cheap shot.
It felt cheap.
It was a cheap shot in the way that commercials cheap shot you.
It was It was almost insulting. Like now you have to feel this way. Really feel it, guys.
It's time for Brews with Dudes. Juicy. Now my feelers are hurt, but they should. I mean, yours should be more hurt.
I wish
I'm
we
a
could have
forgetful
got that
guy.
pretty awkward milkshake, so we could have that, so we could transition from awkward to awkward.
Oh, that would have been nice. We will have more awkward moments, I am sure. Today we are doing the Winter Party Pack from Sierra Nevada. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the one that I'm sure everyone here has probably drank before, but we've actually never had it on an episode. So. Another happy accident. This is Sierra Nevada's Pale Ale. Want to snap her open?
I'll snap her open.
Ooh. And we're in.
And they're off.
It's got a pretty nice color to it. Yeah, it's just a freaking ton of Cascade hops.
It's gonna be good. I haven't had one in a while.
Hey, wait. Is Tex our R&D department? And that's why we have answers when he's on and not when he isn't on?
Man, how did he get promoted before me? What the...
Because he knows the answers, Zach.
Damn it!
You know the answers, you can be the R&D guy.
That just makes too much sense. I just read interesting books.
Did you read that book? No, that sucks.
It's not like we don't. It's not like we don't have most of the world's knowledge at our fingertips. We're just like, oh, we really wish we knew this. Anyway,
silence.
No one reaches for phone.
Crickets.
All right, without further ado, let us dive on in. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. Yip, 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 yip.
Glug, glug. Ooh, that's crispy.
Yep. It's about as I remember. Always
That's
really
almost-
good.
That's almost McDonald's Sprite crispy.
It's almost to that level.
First time I had this, I had never had a hoppy beer before, and I found it repulsive. I was at some dude's place, and I was like, oh, this has more alcohol in it? Yeah, I'll try that out. Nope, I hate hops. I was like, Miller Lite, that's about as hoppy as it got for me at that point in time.
We all grow up.
Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
That was when Tex had his first beer, and when he was
first
6.
real beer, yeah.
Age 6. It was a Sierra
Dude's dad had like
Nevada
a whole
Pale
like
Ale.
lamb leg they were carving up. I was like, yes.
Wow. Apparently they came up with this in 1980. That's wild.
One of the originals.
Wanna go ahead and read that to us, Nick?
In 1980, we created a beer highlighting the bold pine and citrus flavors of the whole cone Cascade hop. Today, our all-natural, bottle-conditioned pale ale is recognized worldwide as a classic.
Classic.
Ha! Classic.
It's like killer instinct things you stuff in there.
Combo reversal.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah, just dump tons and tons and tons of Cascade hops in there. It's like, good job. This is delicious.
Top to bottom. Just keep going.
So
why'd they have to
just
put
go ahead
the pine
and
in there?
cascade those cascades up in there.
That's my only question. I'm like, ugh, guys.
Well, they dry hop it and they boil it and throw it in the end. There's like every single bit of the Cascade
Where
hop
can
they
we
pull
put
out of it.
more?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not bad.
They put Cascade
Those labels
in
are
all
made
the
out of
holes.
the Cascade hops.
Oh.
Which is next there, Austin?
Let's keep on rolling.
We have the Winter Warmer Lager.
Ooh.
Lager. I don't really hear that.
A lager is going to warm me up.
Yeah, man.
Maybe after I have 20 of them.
Let's go through Floyd's. Ooh.
They have cool little stories on the back of these. This one says, the cold nights are coming, and you couldn't care less, not with a winter warmer in your hand. Ooh, I like what they did there. Rich and malty with a touch of sweetness, this beer lives up to its name. Crack open a winter warmer and tell the winter to show you what it's got.
Show me what you got.
Austin,
Hit me with your best
show us
shot.
what you got.
I'm most emboldened against winter.
Your insides feel like it's not anymore.
Let's get into it.
I think
Whoa.
being inside is
That's a
probably
lager?
key.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's
Come on now.
forget about it.
It's like Dead Guy Ale.
Didn't you say Dead Guy Ale was a lager?
Yeah, I was freaking talking about it with my group. Yeah, it's definitely not.
Oh.
Why it's called an ale.
All right, Tex, we're going to have to look over your resume one more time before we give you the official title.
It's like that reporter that was making up
on it.
stories.
Yes.
He was actually no.
I mean,
prolifically so.
It's not Tex's fault. He was using Google Translate, and we all know how well that goes.
Also, just shut down. Google just just takes off the internet. Sorry, Google.
moral of the story: don't use Google Translate.
All right, let's see what this lager is all about, you confusing son of a bitch.
It's like very deep in color.
This is a very deep amber color.
Oh my!
Shit.
Okay.
Let me see that ball.
Oh damn!
That's what I said.
That's tasty.
Damn.
Damn, damn.
Yeah, this isn't Budweiser.
6.7%. Yep, that'll work for a
Wow.
lager.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, indeed.
Did somebody let Owen Wilson in?
This definitely puts a little
let
fire
him
in
out
my
of his
belly.
cage.
That's a cool looking.
It looks like a Maibach.
too.
Yeah, it looks like
Real
almost as
amber.
dark as an amber bock.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, that is delicious. That is super, super sweet.
Yeah,
There's hardly
pretty
any
crazy.
hops in there. It's just like
Man, I'm so glad I have 2 more of these at home because I'm gonna fucking drink.
powerhouse when you get home.
Fuck yeah.
Had to.
What do you say to winter, Austin?
Show me what you got.
Show me what you
We like what you got.
Yeah, so that's a consensus, right?
Yeah.
Good job, Sierra Nevada. Only being cool with all the people who had that fire happen. But man, you keep on making this awesome beers all the time.
I think they're different entities.
Sierra Nevada?
Yeah.
And no, they helped a lot of people
Oh, I thought you said they
fires and
started the
stuff.
fire. I'm like, no, I don't think.
No,
that's
no,
quite
no,
what
like
you're
no,
saying.
when like they help people.
No, they're the ones. I think they're the ones leading the way on the. They're doing a beer where all the profits go towards the fires.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and they got a
Start
bunch of
new
breweries.
fires. Wait, no.
Man, Corey, I'm so glad you said that because that was immediately where I went to. Can't help it.
Well, since there's 5 of us and we've only got 12-ounce bottles, we're really just slamming right through these.
Just burning through.
Yeah, it feels like other one was like just beer sampling. It's like, oh, what's this?
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
It is nice. She's like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, that's good.
Ooh.
What do we got coming up next?
Up next, we have the Holiday Haze IPA.
I've not tried this one.
Neither have I. Let's read this label.
Neat.
It says, as the holiday season ramps up, we all get busy. So we're bringing you this IPA as a reminder to slow down and appreciate the special time. Heavy with intense fruit-forward hop flavor, mild bitterness, and a smooth finish, this is the perfect beer for the lead up to the holidays. Let's all pause, relax, and snap out of that holiday haze. Wow.
Powerhouse this beer.
Now
That's
let's
going
just
to clear things up.
Now let's shotgun 6 these.
Need to clear the haze, man.
Just drop a straw in there and curl it up.
Here we go.
And we're pouring.
Better be a metal straw.
Oh, paper. That way it dissolves halfway through my drink.
It's gonna mess up your mojo when it all just comes gushing at you.
My favorite thing to drink with
Like pulp.
paper straws are milkshakes.
Milkshake sounds nice.
It is hazy, but still see-through.
Yep.
It looks super juicy. It will.
One little drip.
I swear to God.
Smells really nice.
Just a whittle dribble. Oh,
Well.
down it goes, boys.
This is my clear winner so far in terms of appearance. I really like.
Oh, wow.
That's interesting.
That is good.
It's bright and not languid.
That is the color. I like that color too, Corey. That's the most inviting color so far. It glows. It's like
this. It's like
it looks like watered down Mountain Dew.
It's like if you could make if you could make beer day glow. Yeah,
it is beautiful.
6.5%. All right.
I'm kind of on the fence about
Drinking
this.
delicious hoppy slime. Not the consistency, the color.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very smooth.
It's real smooth.
I've never had this one. I really like it.
neither have I. That's why I picked up this pack because there's 3 beers I hadn't had before, and then the pale ale. And the pale ale is never like a bad choice when it comes to Sierra Nevada. So.
Only 6.5.
You can drink 3 or 4 of these and, then be pretty drunk.
You can sit back by the fire,
be right where I want to be.
Getting smashed on some.
Having people help me to the bathroom but not work, so I pee myself halfway there. The holidays.
My favorite way to be.
You can do that too because it helps warm you up.
I like
You
your
don't get out
style.
your
I
seasonal
like your style,
chamber
Austin.
Pull over, Lloyd. I gotta go pee. Just go.
Just go. That's warm.
You had 2 gloves this whole time? Yeah, Harry, it's the Rockies.
Yeah. It's cold.
Yeah, hello.
I'll kill you. Ah! Your hands are so cold. I love that movie.
This thing is like light as a Pilsner.
It is so delicious.
It's just.
It's really light, but I almost feel like it's almost a little tasteless. Does that if that makes sense? Like I chewed it up a little bit, and you can taste.
This kind of
the notes,
but I don't all day IPA kind of feel like
there's not a lot of bittering hops. It's all in the back end.
It's not. Yeah, it's not bitter at all.
It's hazy.
It goes down so easy.
Yeah, it goes down super easy.
Well, now that we've had all these nice light boys, it's time to perk ourselves back up with a little bit of coffee.
Oh shit! Oh yeah! Next, the Sierra Nevada Coffee Stout.
Did it do?
Yeah,
I didn't know this existed.
Yeah, I know, right?
Neither did I.
Well, Corey, they say you're supposed to learn something new every day.
Why do you think I bought this pack?
They don't learn things. They don't
story
offer
time.
to make
Tell us about
stouts
it.
and stuff.
All right, children, let's settle down and
put your hands by the fire.
We're
Uncle
too
Austin's
close to
gonna
break.
tell
I
us a
can't-
story.
Too hyper.
On this day, the coffee stout came
All right,
about.
you're going to be in timeout if you can't tell yourself for story time.
It's a yellow card.
You're gonna get a spanking.
God damn it.
All right, it's a cup of Joe and a bold beer are great cold weather companions. So we blended them for the ultimate warmer. Our coffee stout is a fusion of dark roasted malts and rich coffee for layers of bittersweet, fruity, dark chocolate, and caramel-like flavors.
Good God, was that? They just
Put it in
described
my head.
They just
That was a
described
mouthful.
my fantasy.
Were they in my dream last night?
God damn, that sounds so good.
My first question is: are the malt is dark roasted, but are the coffee beans dark roasted?
Interesting question.
What if they just dark roasted the whole fucking thing?
I mean, I'm okay with that.
The
I'm
darker
not
the better.
Particularly looking for caffeine, you know.
It says rich coffee.
I suppose
There's
there's
a
only
definite. There is. They're not saying if it's dark roasted.
They're just saying it's rich.
I suppose there's only one way to find
Better
out.
open it before I grab it again.
Right off the top of my teeth and just.
Take it easy, Nick. I need more than my allotted 3 ounces.
Nicholas, settle yourself.
Someone once said, I want it all.
I'm rowdy.
That looks tasty.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
His
Nick's
eyes
as
just
smells
glimmered
good as
so
the one
much.
that you made recently.
Game over.
Oh my God.
It was like anime.
Hurry up and pour. Hurry up and pour.
Watch way too much.
Oh!
Let me start doing anime impressions. They all have hilarious sounds. The high pitched people.
Oh my lord.
Oh!
The smell. That's pretty. That's pretty fucking good.
If you like,
that one's almost slimy. That one's almost just like, it's sticking around.
Can't swallow all that.
Oh, that was good.
And it's only 6.2%. This is great.
That's less than the lager.
yeah, but I'm gonna fucking enjoy this one. This is good. If you like coffee and stouts, this is a beer for you. Cause
You can have a few without being completely wiped out.
There's
There's some coffee stouts out there that are like 10, 12%. It's like, you get to split this with a friend.
Yeah.
Drink this yourself. You'll be too tired to recycle this bottle. This is going to fall over.
I'm a big fan of porters, too, because you get that darkness and that maltiness to stouts, but it's on a lighter, easier to drink.
Like 5 to 6%, not like...
Yeah.
9, 10.
9, 10, like I'm trying to fucking eat it.
Yeah.